Should I translate or not while learning English? Have you thought about this question too? Hi, I'm Magdalena, an English teacher. Some English teachers and language learners too believe that in order to learn English effectively, you need to learn English in your first or in your native language. So, should we translate or not while learning a foreign language? Several of my students have told me that their previous teachers mostly spoke to them in their first language during lessons, explained things in their first language, and regularly used translation. I believe that you will only truly speak a language if you learn to think in that language. First of all, translation is too time-consuming. While you try to spend time on both languages, your native language and the target language, you simply don't have enough time to immerse yourself in the language you're learning. So in practice, you're wasting half of your learning time on your native language. Instead of translating, it's much more useful to observe how English uses words and expressions in context. Our brain learns a language by hearing it, seeing it, and using it in real-life situations. You need to learn to think in the target language. You also need to accept that the target language is completely different from your native language. So please don't try to translate every sentence into your native language. It takes time and creates stress. It can also create a constant habit of translating in your head, and this habit doesn't disappear overnight. But what about beginners? I believe that even at a basic level, it's worth learning only in the target language. Oh yes. From the very beginning, it's important to learn to think in English. However, this only works if the learner is open, flexible, persistent, motivated, willing to step out of their comfort zone. They take responsibility for their own learning and not rely only on 1 or 2 lessons per week. For years, I've been using the monolingual method, and it works with the help of pictures, visuals, and real-life situations. This way, the learner does not receive understanding through their native language, but through other channels, for example, visual tools. Our native language is like a crutch. The brain immediately reaches for it. But while learning, this constant stepping back breaks your focus and slows down or interrupts this process. So is translation harmful? No, not at all. But don't let it become a habit. Different translation apps can be useful if you're a complete beginner or if you simply can't find the right word. How about grammar? Can you understand English grammar if the teacher does not explain it in your native language? Yes, absolutely. Grammar should also be learned through practical examples and real-life situations, where behind each structure, there is not a dry, boring rule, but a situation, an event, a story. One more thing about translation. Of course, if someone wants to become a translator, then they must learn how to translate. Translation itself is an art, and people study for years to become professional translators. So the main point is this: translating in your head slows down real communication. The most effective way is to translate as little as possible so the foreign language becomes part of you and you can truly use it. You should not translate word for word. There is no need for that. The message is what matters, not the individual words one by one. The goal is to think in English, and this is only possible if you focus not on translation, but on communication. How have you learned English so far? And if you started now, which method would you choose? Write it in the comments. I'm really curious.